Oh, hey guys. Just figuring out what game to review before the end of the year. But which one do I go for next? Night into Dreams? No. Persona 5? No. Super Smash Bros? No. Hello?
Hey, Retro. Ever heard of a game called Sonic Heroes?
You're a genius! I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Sonic fan. Even with the big disappointing Sonic Forces, I still have high hopes for a really good 3D Sonic game. My history with the Blue Blur starts with a game my older sister, the Demon Crow, got called Sonic Heroes on the PS2. And after that, I didn't really touch another Sonic game for a while. Again, Miss Crow said that it was Shadow the Hedgehog that was the first, but I've already explained that in a previous review, so... bleh. It wasn't until Sonic Colors that I got into the series a bit more, then Sonic Generations for the 3DS out of all games, then for the PlayStation 3, write something clever in the script, here we are today. And now that I'm here with my good man, Mr. Mashed Potato, who is here with no context, it's time for the ultimate question. What was your experience with this game?
Hey, thanks for having me. My experience with Sonic Heroes starts out quite similar to yours from the fact that it was my first ever introduction to the Blue Blur. However, I remember the game when it first came out. I was a simple 4-year-old walking to a McDonald's play place and bam! There it was, a GameCube playing booth with Sonic Heroes on the screen, and I was immediately drawn in. But not just because the game was cool, but also because the character designs of Sonic and company. Their colorful and expressive looks gave me the cool franchise that I was looking for. 2 years later, my dad surprised my sister and I with a GameCube with, wouldn't you know it, Sonic Heroes. You can basically guess where the rest goes from there.
This was developed to commemorate the 12th anniversary of Sonic. You literally just made a game for the 10th anniversary. Really? But instead of Sonic Adventure 3, Takashi Iizuka, the lead designer of the game, wanted to make a game that would appeal more to casual players since an SH3 game would only attract Sonic fans. Appropriate considering this was my first Sonic game. Development wasn't all good, however. Iizuka described it as the most stressful of his career due to deadlines and management. One designer even became sick, suffered from insomnia, and lost 22 pounds. This game made someone lose weight.
Welcome to game development, everyone.
But anyway, Sonic Heroes eventually got released for the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 on the 30th of December 2003 in Japan, the 6th of January 2004 in North America, the 27th for the Xbox version, and the 2nd of February 2004 in Europe. It was also given a PC release a year later. So, despite not being a Sonic Adventure sequel, is it good? I don't know. Cue the transition! First and foremost, there are 4 story mode campaigns to choose from. Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Chaotix. Yeah, from that game. God, I wish I had a 32X. In Team Sonic, we see Sonic running around at the speed of sound when Tails and Knuckles come from the tornado and shows him a letter from Dr. Eggman saying that he will conquer the world in 3 days. That's basically it. Kinda simple. Apart from the printed GIF, that's some pretty impressive technology there. Maybe that's where all of his IQ went.
I like how he just tells Sonic and friends about his evil plan instead of just surprising them whenever the time came. Kinda just digging the grave on your own plans, but whatever.
Team Dark starts with Rouge entering a sealed room, hoping to find Eggman's secret treasure, only to find a robot called E123 Omega shooting everywhere, and Shadow the Hedgehog, who previously died in Sonic Adventure 2. Yep, he's back from the dead. It turns out that Dr. Eggman sealed up Omega in the room, and he wants revenge, and Shadow the Hedgehog can't remember anything. That's Shadow alright.
Oh, but don't worry, it's all for a very good reason. You'll see.
So they team up to find Eggman. In Team Rose's story, Amy is looking at a photograph of Sonic and is just being Amy. Oh yeah, and there's also a big cat! Turns out that picture is evidence of Sonic kidnapping a child named Chocola, who belongs to this character called Green the Rabbit, and Froggy. I swear to God!
Don't worry, no fishing gameplay this time, though it's annoying that he lost the damn frog again.
so they go looking for Sonic. And finally, Team Chaotix. I don't know much about the other game, but now they're apparently detectives. And not very good ones it turns out, because they seem to be struggling to pay the rent. When suddenly, Charmy the Bee comes in with a mysterious walkie-talkie. The man from the other side asks for their help in exchange for some cash. Nothing really special to say about the game's story. It does its job. Apart from the gift letter, we have failed as a society to evolve.
Honestly, I kinda like this simple setup for Team Chaotix. It's a good contrast to something like Team Dark's setup, where theirs is all about getting revenge and finding answers, whereas these guys just want to get paid and that's it.
Upon starting up the game, this is certainly a Sonic game. Linear A to B goal with occasional alternate paths to take, ranged, homing attacks. Yep, Sonic.
And I don't mind that. With the exception of Team Chaotix, every level will only have one objective, which is getting to the goal ring. No races, no treasure hunting, no shooting, and no fishing.
I'm just gonna get the obvious out of the way. This time, you play as 3 characters at once. For Team Sonic, there's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. For Team Dark, there's Rouge, Shadow, and Omega. For Team Rose, there's Amy, Cream, and Big the Car! And for Team Chaotix, there's Vector the Crocodile, Espio the Charmeleon, and Charmy. Each character on a team is divided into 3 categories: speed, power, and flight. You can switch the leaders to best suit the situation. Power for when you need to destroy certain obstacles, flight for when you need to get to a certain point you can't reach otherwise, and speed for when you want to home in on enemies. But mainly go fast. This is the main issue most people have with this game. Because of this new gameplay, the levels have to be designed around this. Hence, there's a lot of stopping so you can switch between characters and move on. Now, I'm just gonna make this clear. I don't mind this at all. Yeah, there's a bit of stopping here and there, but it's not as often as everyone makes it out to be. I mean, sure, switching to a character that isn't fast can be a little annoying, but it's kinda like how the original games did it.
I don't mind the character's specific abilities that much at all, because it has the player choose how they want to approach certain situations with a certain character. Sure, you may end up abusing one character's abilities due to the level up system that you can get during the levels, but the game will still require you to make choices. Most of the time. The whole game pushes you to use the trio of heroes, so I understand this design choice. Plus, switching between characters can be done with the push of a button while on the ground, so it isn't too much of a pace breaker.
There's spikes you have to jump over, switches that you will have to pull, even the enemies will stop you for Matmi's sake. Besides, these little stops are only minor. All you have to do is break this block and you're back to normal. In fact, let's talk about how the characters play for a moment. In the speed formation, you can, well, go fast, use your homing attack, use this, I think, spin dash move, but it's not very useful. And do this little tornado spin tinny. This move is very situational, I'm not gonna lie. It's used to get rid of an enemy's shield, turn them upside down, and go up this pole. Oh, and you can do the ring dash. That's nice. In a flight formation, you can fly in the air for a short amount of time, as well as do this power shoot attack to stun enemies. And in a power formation, you can glide through the air and attack. This sounds unnecessary since the other formations can attack as well, but in this formation, you can deal even more damage. This is usually essential for enemies that have a high health bar. And this brings me to one of my minor issues with the game. All of the enemies have a health bar. Normally, I don't mind this, it's just an extra hit and they're gone. But then you get to enemies with this amount of health and it's like, why?
It's thanks to this game that future Sonic games have enemies with health bars and take multiple hits to kill.
Each team also gets a team blast whenever you fill up this gauge by destroying enemies or collecting rings. Using it destroys all of the enemies in the surrounding area, as well as having an after effect afterwards, depending on the team. For Team Sonic, before this little thing goes back down, if you press the attack button, he does this thing. For Team Dark, Shadow uses Chaos Control to freeze time for a short while. For Team Rose, you get a shield and invincibility for a short time. And for Team Chaotix, you get extra rings depending on how many enemies you've destroyed. Personally, I like this.
If the screen is littered with enemies, Team Chaotix just breaks the bank with their Team Blast. Don't think they'll need to get paid any more to cover that rent.
Each team has its own difficulty. Team Sonic is the game's normal mode. Team Dark is harder with more enemies. Team Rose is a lot easier with the stages ending half shorter than the other teams. And Team Chaotix is mission based. This can range from collecting tins, destroying a certain amount of enemies, blowing out the stupid red torches, and getting by undetected. There are also differences between the teams. For example, by doing a tornado as SPO, he can turn invisible, and Amy just plain sucks. I'm not going to explain why, she just sucks. And on that note, there's definitely a lot of talking. Granted, it's not as bad as Sonic Boom, but it can get on your nerves sometimes, especially for the impatient.
Look at all those Eggman robots! Look at all those Eggman robots! Look at all those Eggman robots!
Look at all them X-Men's robots! And since I'm feeling a bit annoyed, let's talk about the physics. It's very slippery and it's very easy to fall off edges. It gets to the point where I keep dying often in the same place, especially when you're playing as Knuckles or Omega. They gravitate to the next enemy even though you don't want them to, and you can't move until the animation is finished, meaning that you better be careful when you fight near a cliff, otherwise, oops! This makes you want to stick to the fly characters most of the time, as he or she can potentially fly back to safety, but they don't do much damage and are very slow.
I have to agree. Very slippery controls can make or break this game for people. It personally doesn't for me, but I still have my issues. When you're fighting as Knuckles or Omega, they like to zigzag all over the place and you can come very close or just straight up fall off the cliff.
And the tornado spin? It's not so great. If the enemy is near a wall, prepare to take a hit. And since I don't know where else to put this, the ring dash is a bit iffy. Sometimes it works, but other times it doesn't, and I can't tell you why. And one more thing, the version I'm playing is the GameCube version. I recommend this one or the Xbox version, but probably best not to go for the PS2 version, as it has a terrible frame rate and it loads forever. You can probably deal with it if that's the only console you have, but whatever you do, do not get the PC version. It is buggy as heck. Exhibit A! Now, if you're wondering why that video was in widescreen while the footage here is in 4:3, long story short, I had to re-download all of my games at some point. Oh, also, on the PAL version of the GameCube or PS2 game, do not select 60 frames. This makes the game run a little bit faster than it's supposed to. I learned that the hard way.
Boy, Amy sure doesn't give up that easy.
What is this place? Sure is
We got
bright
some
here.
time. Feeling lucky?
Sonic, we only have 24 hours
Okay,
left!
let's go!
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that stuff. I'm an American.
Well, anyway, time to talk about the levels. Much like the Mega Drive games, these are divided into 3 acts. But what's cool is that they treat them as their own levels. For example, Casino Park is a place full of slot machines, and Bingo Highway has you playing bingo. They're both similar, but they are their own separate levels. And after 2 levels is a boss fight. There are 3 types of them. One where you fight Eggman himself, another is a gauntlet of bandits, and then there are the team battles where you fight the other teams and try to throw them off the stage. It's easy when you know what to do, i.e. do tornado spins everywhere. Well, anyway, on to the first stage. Seaside Hill is personally my favorite stage. Probably biased though. It has grass, a beach, whales, and yes, I know it's similar to Sonic Adventure's Emerald Coast, but shut up. It's fun, it's easy, it just feels good in my opinion.
It's also quite a bit more lengthier than most first Sonic levels. Not that it's a bad thing. I actually like being able to run through these larger areas compared to what most Sonic games give you.
Then we get to Ocean Palace, and yes, it's mostly the same, but I still love it. The railings, the giant turtles, the giant rocks that chase you, I can do without. Again, I love it.
Yeah, the Rolling Stone can be quite intimidating, but then they throw 2 and even 3 of these after you. Like, come on!
Grand Metropolis is pretty cool. You have certain floors that make you move forward automatically, and a lot of loops.
Now this is my favorite level. Futuristic architecture, fast-paced roads, and lots of open spaces to take alternate paths. I also just really appreciate the vastness of the Metropolis.
Power plant is mostly the same, but now there's lava! He keeps rising and rising and rising. Oh my god, help! Casino Park, like I said before, has a lot of slot machines, but there's also one giant casino that you enter. And here's where my excitement drops. I liked Sonic Spinball and all, but the physics here are just horrible. You can slightly move, maybe, but most of the time, not really. It's just plain awful and you can never go where you want to go. Prepare for those E-ranks.
Yeah, I kinda have to agree, though this level does have its moments here and there.
The same can be said about Bingo Highway. Again, as I said, you can play bingo, but now there are holes that leads to a bottomless pit. Keep in mind, you can't go where you want to go. It's bad.
Yep, the controls can't save this level for the life of it.
Rail Canyon has a pretty cool concept. You grind rails above a canyon. At times, it's fun, but jumping from rail to rail doesn't work half the time and I don't know why.
I mean, one time you can jump from rail to rail just fine, but then the next time you try it, you launch yourself way past the other rail and just fall to your death.
Bullet Station is exactly the same. There's little to no difference. Next. Frog Forest is where things sort of pick up a bit. It's one big forest with flowers you can fly with, a little bit of railing, and frogs that can make platforms appear. I kinda like this. Not too sure about the powerful enemies though, I just end up using a Team Blast whenever I find them.
I do really like the atmosphere with the music and the look of the level. It really gives off a good rainforest vibe. Probably one of my favorite levels in the game.
Lost Jungle is mostly the same, but now there are these black frogs that can make platforms disappear, and I swear they're impossible to avoid.
And there's this giant crocodile that chases Sonic at the end of the level. Like first whales and now crocodiles? What do these large carnivores have for blue hedgehogs?
Hang Castle is one of my favorites. It's basically a castle with switches that makes you go upside down. Mystic Mansion has the switches do different things instead.
The upside down mechanic is rather nice, but these levels, especially Mystic Mansion, can take so much time to beat.
Egg Fleet is pretty much a bunch of ships to jump across to.
Be careful not to fall.
Final Fortress is pretty hard actually. Platforms falling, there are these lasers that you have to be quick to avoid, and Tails questioning the self-destruct buttons.
Wonder why it's self-destructed.
Yeah, that was a mistranslation. But while Egg Fleet is really fun, giving a lot of alternate pathways with jumping from ship to ship, Final Fortress brings everything to a halt with annoying enemies with large health bars.
I'm just going to insert a presentation here for the moment. Compared to previous Sonic games, this looks really good. The cutscenes look nice, the textures are great, basically a good looking game. The music though? My god, why is it so good? From Seaside Hill to Rail Canyon, even the menu for God's sake. But nothing can top the songs composed by Crush 40. From the main theme to We Can, you guys are geniuses.
Graphics and art style aren't really my favorite in this series, but the music is pretty awesome though. Nothing will ever beat Team Chaotix theme for me personally.
Anyway, on to the final boss. For the final boss, it's fine I guess. It does alright. It's annoying that you have to keep a constant distance, as too close or too far away and you get hit. But it's fine. Once you beat him, Team Sonic wins I guess. Team Duck reveals that Shadow may or may not be a clone, while Mega reveals that the real one must still exist.
But that's a mystery for another game to solve.
Team Rose finally rescues Chocola, Chow, and Froggy, and Team Chaotix rescues their clients revealed to be Eggman. I'll explain that one in a bit. Oh, and because he doesn't have the money, they beat him up. Dear God, don't mess with the Chaotix bros. And that's pretty much it. You have to play through them all as each team, but the levels in this game are a mixed bag for me. Some good and some bad. But then, once you've done it all, it's still not done yet, because you also have to collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Yeah, the first 3D Sonic game to have special stages. Don't look over here. All you have to do is reach the emerald before the emerald reaches the end. To do this, you must collect these orbs that will fill up your boost gauge, and press and hold the boost button. Yes, hold it! Not tap repeatedly, hold. I swear, people on YouTube. On paper, this is like Sonic's 2 special stages. And yeah, it is. but better. Or it would be if not for one simple problem. The physics. Sometimes you just go wherever the game decides you go. Often, the ceiling. And it doesn't help when there are bombs everywhere. And it's even worse on the PC version. Seriously, I don't get that one. I'm just gonna make an update. When recording for the PC version, it actually feels a little bit better than the consoles, and I swear I remember it being a lot worse, but I don't know anymore, so... But you want to know what's the worst part about it? It's how you get there. There are these keys, roughly 3 of them, in each level. Once you collect one and bring it to the end of the level, you go to the special stage. However, gets hit once, and you'll lose it. My advice, get them using Team Rose since their levels are a lot shorter. Also, you can only get emeralds on the second act. The first one, just for lives.
Yeah, it's all pretty stupid, and you need the Chaos Emeralds in order to unlock the final story, so you have to deal with getting these keys and beating all the special stages in order to fully beat the game.
But anyway, once you get everything you need, it's time for the last story. It turns out that Metal Sonic was the one behind everything, and has been collecting data from each team to transform into Metal Madness. Okay, this may not be as long as Sephiroth's Supernova attack. But come on, Sega! Anyway, you play as each team doing some damage to Metal Sonic. Oh, excuse me. I mean Metal Madness. Until he transforms into a Dragoon, and Team Sonic uses the Chaos Emeralds to turn into Super Sonic! Tails and Knuckles get a golden shield though.
Rant Mode activate.
Why? Anyway, the boss is alright. It's nothing special, but it's a lot better than Adventure 1 and 2's final bosses. Yeah, that's right, own it!
Oh, if I would have known you were going to say something as as that, then I definitely wouldn't have agreed to this collaboration.
All you have to do is attack Metro Dragoon's attack to fill up the team blast gauge, and only then you can deal some damage. It's basic, but it works. Also, this music kicks right up there! It's so good! Crush 40, why? Once you beat him, the game ends. You expecting more? Oh, and there's a multiplayer mode. It's fine, I guess. It does well.
Psst, Sonic Adventure 2 still has the best multiplayer.
And that's Sonic Heroes. What do I think of it? It's fine. There's a lot of fun to be had with this game, mostly from nostalgia if I'm gonna be honest. But there are cracks that can't really be ignored, especially if you're a Sonic fan. There are references, but they feel the need to bring up the egg carrier 3 times. If you're expecting an amazing Sonic game, you should probably look elsewhere. But if you just want to have a bit of fun, you might find something here.
Despite my gripes with the controls and how straightforward a lot of it is coming off of the adventure games, I still hold this game to very high regard. Though for 3D Sonic, I would play the adventure games before touching this one. Not my favorite Sonic game, but still a good one, and it was my first one too, so that's something, right?
Right, and with that, thank you so much for being here with me for this review. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna have a break.
Yeah, I think it's about time for me to go. I have some work I need to cry over, so, see ya!
Well, this was fun. Now then, time for my Christmas nap. What was that? It's probably nothing. And that's the end of another video. Thanks for watching. I'm really sorry about the delay. There was an issue that was happening, so it had to be delayed, and I'm recording this before it's even finished, but I'm hoping it gets done on time, at least before Christmas. This and the next video, but I think that one's nearly done as well, but I don't know. Anyway, if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, and share this with everyone you know and love. And now here's for a great announcement. Let me tell you, I actually got someone on Patreon. Anyway, our new and first Patreon supporter is Pikmin442. He's gonna be added right there. Let's see it. Yeah, that's a great list right there. A start of a new journey. I'm so proud. Anyway, if you want to get a shout out yourself, it's only $2 per month. And if you want to see my reviews a day early, it's $5 per month. Anyway, so gonna have anything else to say? I hope you look forward to my next review. It's probably gonna come out the day after this review. Okay, bye.